We're sorry, guys. We're as disappointed as you are. The latest press for Morbius states the release date has been delayed for a third time, and this one is delayed until April. While we all eagerly wait, tune into this video and learn everything you need to know about the Marvel vampire movie. First things first, who is Morbius? Based on the Marvel comics, he's a character who's been a fan favorite for over 50 years now. Morbius was an aristocratic family scientist. He was transformed into a living vampire while trying to create an experimental treatment for a rare blood condition that he suffered from. Morbius possesses just a few vampire qualities because his transformation was influenced by science rather than the supernatural. For example, he still had to drink blood, but instead of converting his victims into vampires, he just murders them. Some typical vampire vulnerabilities, like garlic and crucifixes, have no effect on him, and he could come out in the sunlight, but it significantly weakened him. Morbius was developed from a villain to an antihero over time, owing partly to the internal conflict that has been the character's trademark. He must feed on blood to survive, yet his humanity remains intact, and is horrified by his need to feed. As a result, presenting Morbius with a frightening solution brought out everything magnificent about him. We feel a Jekyll and Hyde vibe going on here. The story clearly explains why Morbius is such an intriguing character. He's a scientist plagued by his darker self, much like the Hulk. It gets the best of him at times, yet when presented with what he knows is right, and there's no prospect of bad repercussions, Morbius can still choose to do the right thing. Morbius, also known as the living vampire, holds an unusual role in Marvel history that not many people actually know about. Morbius was created at a period when the Comics Code Authority forbade authors from depicting supernatural creatures such as vampires in comic books. Therefore, he represented an odd compromise. Morbius, rather than being a supernatural entity, was purposefully meant to be a scientifically made vampire, rather than one generated by supernatural and perhaps demonic powers. While the distinction is now amusing, it did imply that Morbius was bestowed with some unusual abilities as a result of his scientific background. If he is in fact part vampire and part human, what powers does Morbius have? Morbius is unlike any other character in Sony and Marvel cinematic worlds, but what are his talents and how do they relate to those of Sony's other two characters, Venom and Spider-Man? While Morbius's skills make him a menace, he is essentially on par with Venom in terms of ability. Venom, from Sony, possesses extraordinary strength, durability, speed, agility, and a regenerative healing factor, as well as the ability to climb walls. Morbius may have a similar ability to this, since a now-deleted video apparently showed the character leaping from one building to the next and adhering to the walls. Venom, on the other hand, can spread its tendrils and tentacles, allowing Eddie to knock down foes and build a shield, something Morbius cannot perform. Spider-Man has superhuman strength, speed, durability, and agility, but he also has increased senses, including the iconic Spidey sense, a regenerative healing factor, and the ability to crawl on walls. Morbius's abilities also elevate him to the level of Spider-Man, and depending on the circumstances of the encounter, Morbius may have the upper hand due to his night vision and echolocation. We do hope that Morbius takes on Venom and Spider-Man at some point. Man, just imagine that fight sequence. It would certainly be difficult to select a winner, since they have comparable talents and capabilities that may overrule one another, and there may be additional powers to be revealed in Morbius still. We're very eager to watch the film, but who directed Morbius? Morbius, directed by Daniel Espinosa, is the first live-action adaptation of the concept, starring Jared Leto as the eponymous figure. The film appears to take place in some variant of the MCU's expanded universe and Sony's Spider-Verse. The teaser includes characters and likenesses from both earlier and recent Spider-Man films, as well as a nod to Tom Hardy's Venom at one point. Michael Keaton's Adrian Toomes as Vulture also appears in the latest Morbius trailer, which has received generally positive reviews all around. So how long is the runtime for this film? With the Morbius release date approaching, fresh information about the picture, including its run duration, is beginning to emerge. Morbius will last 1 hour and 48 minutes or 108 minutes total, according to a recent posting on the official Cinemark website. This makes it longer than Venom Let There Be Carnage, which clocks in at a svelte 1 hour and 37 minutes, but significantly less than No Way Home, that ran for 2 hours and 28 minutes. Matt Smith, Adria Arjona, Tyrese Gibson, and Jared Harris also star in Morbius. It may be the first superhero film of 2022, while this year will also witness The Batman and Thor: Love and Thunder. Hunter. Morbius is an unusual example. Since he's been delayed so many times, it'll be a significant component of Sony's expanding Marvel world, which has so far been dominated by the Venom films. Morbius can meaningfully develop this universe while introducing its primary antihero. Let's just hope it can do so in under 2 hours. On that note, let's take a closer look into the cast. Morbius's fiancée, Martine Bancroft, is played by Adria Arjona, while Morbius's mentor is played by Jared Harris. Matt Smith plays Morbius's buddy, Loxias Crown, who also suffers from the same rare crippling condition. Crown is a comic book villain and a Hydra agent who's transformed into another living vampire after being bitten by Morbius. Joseph Essen plays a young Loxias Crown in the film. We are patiently waiting as Morbius is delayed yet again. When the character was supposed to appear in Blade in the 1990s, plans for an on-screen Morbius appearance began to circulate. The Morbius development was suspended when the cameo fell through until about 2017, when Sony announced a series of Spider-Verse films, beginning with Venom in 2018. After Burke Sharpless and Matt Sazama submitted their Morbius script to Sony, the development on the film began in early 2017. The Vampiric Doctor, on the other hand, is still struggling to make it to the big screen. The picture's release date has been pushed back 7 times now, with the most recent Morbius postponement moving the film back from January 28th now to April 1st of 2022. Though the Morbius delay is mostly due to an increase in COVID-19 cases, Deadline says that Sony's motivated by Spider-Man No Way Home's box office success, and the word success is a bit of an understatement. No Way Home presently accounted for 12% of 2021's box office receipts in the United States. That is a lot. By putting Morbius on hold for a few more months, Sony's relying on a surefire blockbuster rather than striking a stake through the heart of its lesser-known IPs. Morbius isn't the first time he's taken a second seat to a greater Marvel product. Sony picked Venom: Let There Be Carnage as their late summer/early fall tentpole last January, pushing Morbius until 2022. It's now employing the same tactic with No Way Home, allowing the blockbuster to soar commercially while Morbius waits in the wings. If Sony's going to coax an understandably wary following into cinemas, the company must guarantee that it meets and exceeds its bottom line. Despite the constant delays, fans appear to be amused rather than worried by the latest Morbius news. At the very least, it allows fans more time to study Spider-Verse hypotheses, especially as Sony continues to reveal new Spider-Man villain projects, such as the upcoming Kraven the Hunter. With famous figures like Michael Keaton's Vulture slated to appear in Morbius, it remains to be seen how much the spring release will be linked to the rest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, though. Jared Leto is excited by his character. He says Morbius will take a terrifying approach to the genre, but it will still be a huge, exciting popcorn movie. When asked to explain the forthcoming MCU/Sony hybrid picture to Screen Rant, Leto stated he doesn't know if it's describable, and that he's excited by Dr. Michael Morbius. Leto goes on to explain that he's proud to bring the character to life on screen, which he says is getting more challenging since so many of these great characters already have their own films. The actor goes on to remark that he hopes people will go watch Morbius when it's released. Jared is no rookie to the movie industry. This is where you've seen him before. Leto has remained an intriguing and excellent performer as an actor, receiving an Oscar for his supporting role in Dallas Buyers Club, while also working in more mainstream productions such as Suicide Squad and Morbius. Leto is also the lead singer of the band 30 Seconds to Mars, which is still touring and releasing new songs, keeping the creative creator extremely busy. Leto plays real-life personality Paolo Gucci in this month's House of Gucci, which has an almost unrecognizable makeover for the actor. Leto, a provocative creative, will undoubtedly continue to appear in fresh and exciting ventures, maybe with more from his comic book roles if Morbius goes well. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.